Hello everyone, this is Joe from Scarecrow Joe's Studio. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's been happening in the studio here and upcoming tutorial, but as well as coming to the conclusion of my experiment in weatherproofing or waterproofing paper mache sculptures. If you've been following along on that, there are two other segments that I previously posted on the process of how I weatherproof my paper mache. And this guy here, which I named Goggles because of his big round eyes, he was part of the experiment. I left him out all winter. We had snow, we had sleet, we had rain. And then, we're towards the end of April, and we had an abundance of sunshine, and then we had more rain and more sleet and hail and so forth and so on. I live up here in the mountains in Lake Tahoe, so we experience a lot of different weather. So he was put out there, and here's the conclusion. He withstand, as you can see, he made it through. He's in perfect condition. What I did discover, however, is that the bottom part here, which is a very thin, comparatively speaking, to the rest of him, and these big ridges that has maybe, I don't know, 3 inches of clay on these big ridges. But the bottom of him here only had maybe 1 inch of clay. When he sat in just the wet, this became very, very soggy on the bottom here. The rest of it, pristine. The inside of it, not a problem. It was just the very bottom of it. Because I allowed it to sit in the wet, and actually it sat in water while things were melting and all that. However, I put it in front of a fan for about 24 hours and hardened right back up. Not an issue. There are no soggy points at all whatsoever. Nothing wrong with the paint. So what I call this experiment in weatherproofing or waterproofing paper mache a success. Not completely, because of the way the bottom of it got soggy. However, I wouldn't completely call it a failure either, because as you can see, he's intact. He's in great shape. Nothing wrong with the paint. He survived. There was some sogginess, but after putting him in front of a fan, I did not have to recreate him in any way. I just sat him like this on his side. And allowed a fan to dry it, and he's completely fine. So it's up to you. And go back and look at the very first video where I explain what materials I use or what process I use to weatherproof. And it's going to be up to you to decide whether, is that a success or is it a failure? But I think it's pretty good. I wouldn't leave him out. I wouldn't leave like a really great sculpture out in the elements ever with paper mache. I would cover them or bring them in. If you spend so much time on something and to potentially have it ruined by weather, that could be very, very heartbreaking. So that's my piece of advice. Weatherproof them as best as you can. But if you know that weather is coming in, and if it's an easy thing, something like this, like a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern or some other kind of little display, I would either cover it completely, lift it off the ground so it doesn't sit in water, and or bring them in so that you can have peace of mind and know that your sculptures are going to be intact. And if you take care of them, if you take really good care of paper mache sculptures, seriously, I think that they can live forever or last forever. brings me to my studio update. Next tutorial that I have in mind is showing you how to build this sculpture here. I call this the Skull and Books sculpture. It has a candlestick in the top of the skull here that's removable so that you can reinsert a battery when the battery dies. It's completely paper mache, and that's going to be my next tutorial on how to show you how to build this from start to finish from paper mache. That's going to be coming up very, very soon. In the meantime, I'm working on a lot of painting. I have a lot of other jack-o'-lanterns here in the painting process, so that's what I've been working on. This was the first time that I've ever attempted to make a sculpture like this here with the Skull and Books, so I made this one first to see how it was going to turn out. There are some things that I'm going to tweak, and I will talk about that in that tutorial. It again will be another multi-segment tutorial step by step so that you can follow along in your own time and bite-sized segments so that you can understand the entire process and create something from your own imagination, maybe based off of what I have shown you. But in the meantime, my studio is a mess, so I'm going to get reorganizing and cleaning my studio so that I can get on that tutorial for you from step by step on how to create the Skull and Books prop. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.